The following program is being brought to you on the World Talk Radio Network. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit worldtalkradio.com. The World Talk Radio Network, where the world comes to talk. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the World Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
It's time to hear from those who have faced adversity and accomplished greatness. Welcome to Breaking the Limits with host Leica Sean. Your past does not dictate your future. This program will inspire and motivate you. Now here's your host, Leica Sean.
Hey, good evening everyone, and welcome to Breaking the Limits. Tonight our topic is the Women's Prosperity Network, and my guest is Nancy Mathews, who is the CEO and founder of Women's Prosperity Network and Magical Marketing Makeover. Welcome to the show, Nancy.
Thank you, Leica. I'm so happy to be here and share with you and all the listeners all the wonderful things that are possible and available to all of us in 2010. I know everybody I talk to is like, oh, 2010, yeah, this is going to be the year, primarily because I think 2009 was such a challenge for so many people. So I'm on board with that, and I'm excited to chat with you this evening.
Oh, yeah, I have so many questions for you, really. I always like to start with these conversations to just kind of ask, well, who is Nancy Mathews? Where did you come from? Where did you grow up? What's your story?
Oh, that's a fun way to get it started. Nancy Mathews is, you remember the book you heard of, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a girl grows in Brooklyn.
Ah,
okay. and also, I'm also a girl who grows up in Long Island, and then in upstate New York, and then in South Florida here. And every day, I'm still growing and learning. And that's one of my greatest joys in life is always to be learning new things and having new experiences and doing it with joy. I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm the youngest of 4 amazing children, 2 of which are my sisters that I'm in business with Women's Prosperity Network, and then we have a brother who lives out in Las Vegas.
Wow. I mean, I had a grumpy friend once who was like, are you ever going to stop learning all that stuff? And I'm like, well, no, it's not like we're a cookie. You put us in the oven and ding, we're done.
Right. Exactly.
So when you say you don't keep growing, that's what makes me think of that a little bit.
Yeah. And you think about, somebody offered to me this, a tree doesn't stop growing. It's what it does. It naturally just continues to seek more and more towards the light and more knowledge, and it does it effortlessly. That's the other joy of life is learning how to grow and have these experiences effortlessly.
I would love to ask you more about now WPN. At first, I thought that sounded like some kind of a sports network, and then I found out it was a Women's Prosperity Network. And I know
WPN TV,
run by you and your 2 sisters, so it's a 3-sister show, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And WPN stands for Women's Prosperity Network. And there's so many distinctions that Women's Prosperity Network offers and provides. And one is Women's Prosperity Network is not just for women. Oh. We do lots of different educational activities, workshops, seminars, as well as networking opportunities to bring people together and create business, create friendships, create alliances, because we all know that when you want something, it's going to eventually come from some other people. So our philosophy is to build relationships with people that you know, like, and trust, and in that space then do business with each other or create alliances. So that's, the basis of Women's Prosperity Network. We do lots of events throughout the month and annual expos and conferences, and it's a community of people who are committed to their own excellence, to having the most enjoyable and prosperous life possible. And the beauty of it is that they're also committed to the excellence of the person sitting next to them or standing next to them. I tell you, Leica, I've been in many different organizations, networking groups, seminars, workshops. I have never had the pleasure of being in the company with such inspired people who are truly committed to helping each other grow themselves and their businesses. It's such a joy for me.
I was going to say, being an entrepreneurial spirit myself, I've been through a lot of different stops and starts, trying different businesses and trying different things. And during that process, there were so many different, what they call networking groups. Mm-hmm. And so many of those boiled down to a bunch of people who were, pumping coffee and trying to get in a 7 a.m. meeting before I had to run to work and just sitting down and shoving business cards at each other and hoping that someone would buy their product. But my understanding from talking to you already in the past is that you have a very different approach. It's not like one of these, here, have a business card, buy my stuff.
No, not at all, not at all. We really, not that we frown upon it, but we provide an environment that gives people an opportunity to, number one, feel comfortable, because I know many people will force themselves to go to networking events and they don't really like to. They walk into a room, they don't really know anybody, they don't feel comfortable, they don't know what to say. So at our events, one of the things that we always make sure to include is some type of fun activity or icebreaker game that inspires you to talk to each other outside of what I do for a living. So, for example, one of the games we play, and this is one of my favorites, we call it a virtual reunion. And so let's say you come to happy hour, and we pretend that it's 5 years from now, and I haven't seen you in 5 years, and oh my goodness, Leica, you look fantastic. You haven't changed a bit.
No kidding.
Actually, I think you lost some weight. Oh, how did you do that?
That was fast.
And so the last time I saw you, it was 2010, January. I know you were so excited. You had so many things and goals that you set. It's 2015, 5 years later. Tell me what you've been up to. Oh, Nancy, I went on this amazing trip. I went to Europe for 2 months, and I've been speaking all over the country, and my radio show is now been syndicated and carried in all these different markets internationally. And what that does, that process causes you to start dreaming and start feeling and seeing your future. And it gives you the opportunity to play with the other people. So, for example, that's one of the activities we'll do at our networking events that causes people to engage out of the normal structure. Instead of, hi, my name is Nancy, I do marketing, please call me so that I can help you make more money. Kind of flat, do people am I going to hand the card to them, go to the next person, and really expect to get business out of them?
Speed dating in the business world.
Yeah, where if you and I have an opportunity to connect on a heart level and really get to know a few things about each other, we're much more likely to develop a relationship and then see where our business connections might be from there.
Well, I do have something here in the bio that I have on you, which is that you are referred to as a visionary with guts, for your willingness to move forward in the face of fear, adversity, and challenge, and that you've dedicated your life to bringing out the best in others and truly empowering them to live the life of their dreams. And that's a big bell for me. So I thought that sounds like that's part of what that process is the envisioning and dreaming moving forward, kind of like a practicing 20/20 hindsight before the fact almost.
Yeah, I like that. That's true. And I know that with your Breaking the Limits, with the show you're doing and all the coaching you do for people, that's your desire too, to really show people the path and allow them to create the life of their dreams.
Yeah, it definitely is. And also a large component of this show, which is I like to have people like you on the show because you inspire other people to show them that they're not just the sum total of the little bits and pieces of their past. We're so much more than that, and that just because you grow up in one particular way, you can reach for the stars and become something much greater than that. So that's also a large part of the theme.
And one of the things that I share with my clients when I'm doing coaching or through the Women's Prosperity Network is oftentimes the stories that we've been telling ourselves about our past are not based in fact, that human beings are what I refer to as folk tale factories. We make up stories about everything.
I listened to that tape. I purchased that product of yours, and that's one of the things that did stick in my head, because I realized I have a little mini folktale factory of my own.
Mm-hmm. And we all do.
Humans need to, apply meaning to things that have happened in their life, and then also see commonality in it. And you can create, some pretty powerful negative associations with things in your past that may or may not even be truly associated to what happened. And then you can just spin it off from there, especially if you have a good imagination. They can because, and then there's all the because of this, it must be because of, and depending on how your mindset is at the time, you come up with a heck of a lot of not always so great reasons that may or may not be true.
Mm-hmm. And what the process is, one little thing can happen to you when you're 4 or 5 or 6, and you started telling yourself a story about that occurrence. And then you repeat the patterns, and then you believe the story, and then we eventually begin to subconsciously take actions that fulfill this limiting story that we have about ourselves.
There was a key moment in my life when I had basically manifested myself into such a dark place that I realized, wow, if I have the power to put myself here, what if you repolarize it? That means I have the power to put myself somewhere else equally opposite. I mean,
that's huge.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like that shows that we have this amazing power we can harness. We just haven't directed it correctly.
Right. It's like, are you going to use the force for good or evil, Luke?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it all comes down to the power. And, people often ask me, Nancy, how do you stay so up and positive? How do you keep moving forward when the economy is so bad, or there's challenges happening, and the deal you thought was going to happen falls through? How do you stay so positive? And I'd like to share with the listeners a couple of the things that I use in my life that allow me to be what I refer to as a why warrior, somebody who is in consistent and persistent pursuit of my vision and my purpose. And that is, number one is everything begins with what you just said, Leica, the power that we have within us to choose how we want to feel, act, and respond in any given moment.
I think the first moment is when you realize that you have that power, because up to that point you kind of thrash around in the storm, feeling different ways, feeling like you're powerless a lot of times, depending on where you are in your life. And I think the first step, at least in my mind, is to realize that you actually do have that power.
Mm-hmm. And the way that begins is very simply by choosing how you want to feel. So, for example, that expression people say, I got up on the wrong side of the bed. Well, come on. Come on, the bed is the bed.
It's got
you
four
get
sides.
to choose.
Where? Yes.
Right. Yeah. Go back to bed and get up on the other side then.
Let's try this again. Or roll off the other side of the bed. Maybe it'll help me a little bit.
Exactly. And one of the practices that I've put into place in my life, and I want to share with the listeners on the call, is that in order to feel good and to change the stories that you've been telling yourself, this is going to be a process, and don't expect to be perfect right outside the gate. Just like if you wanted to be a professional sports figure, a baseball player, golf star, whatever that is, it takes a long time of daily, persistent action to move you in the direction of what your long-term goal is. So what I do every single morning before I get out of bed, I'm lying in bed, hit the snooze button a couple of times, and as I'm lying there, the first thing I do is find 5 people or things that I'm grateful for in my life.
Can you hold that thought? We're going to take a break here in a second. I don't want to lose that train of thought. I want to revisit that after the break.
Okay.
That's such an awesome concept, and I think we both know a wonderful coach that does the Why Warrior.
Yes, we do.
And I just love that term. So maybe we can talk about some more about that as well. Anyway, I'm still getting the handle on this old 30-second countdown.
Listen. The world is talking. The World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
Your past does not dictate your future. Learn where this powerful message came from by picking up a copy of the inspirational book, Firewalker, written by author, speaker, and talk show host Leica Shawn. Firewalker chronicles Leica's experiences raised in the deep woods of Maine by a Czech immigrant who claimed to be touched by the hand of God, and her journey to overcoming the fear and self-doubt that was thrust upon her for years. Pick up your copy of Firewalker now at breakingthelimits.com/Firewalker. That's breakingthelimits.com/Firewalker. Champions are born and losers are made. This is a powerful statement made by one of the world's top motivational speakers, John D. Lemmy. Clinically diagnosed as a stutterer at a young age, he was told he would never speak fluently, and yet now he is a world-renowned motivational speaker. Get the resources now you need in order to stay on top of your game. John D. Lemmy is giving away for free 7 success motivational teachings. Go to www.selfempowermentsystems.com. That's www.selfempowermentsystems.com.
Wake up with a unique daily show covering the world of sports with a new perspective. Get Off the Bench with Mitchell John will bring you the current sports news and events happening now, not later like the others. Your first look at sports will feature the news and views from professional, college, and high school sports. Tune in with Mitchell John for a can't-miss program every weekday. Catch Get Off the Bench with Mitchell John weekday mornings at 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
Are you living the call? Tune in for a show about living, loving, and overcoming. You will learn about how to overcome the obstacles in your life firsthand from a host who has done that and so much more, Kelly Tyler. Kelly and her guests will inspire and entertain you each week with stories of their challenges and how they came out victoriously. Wherever you may be on life's journey, you will get the direction and hope that you need. Living the Call is live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time on the World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
You're listening to the World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
You are listening to Breaking the Limits. Your past does not dictate your future with Leica Shawn. What would you do if you could overcome any obstacle in your life? Let's get back to today's exciting discussion. Here's Leica Shawn.
Hello and welcome back to Breaking the Limits with our guest, Nancy Mathews. And welcome back, Nancy.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we were just going on the topic about getting up on the wrong side of the bed, for starters.
Yes.
And you were talking about 5 things that you do in order to stay positive. Did you want to recap that?
I would be happy to. Yes, a practice that I put in place several years ago is that when I first wake up in the morning and open my eyes, even before I get out of bed, I quickly scan and think of in my mind 5 people or things that I'm grateful for. And in this process, it only takes maybe a minute or so. The purpose of doing this is that when you start your day by feeling grateful for what you have and appreciating where you are right now, despite all the things that you may be challenged by, focusing on the gratitude automatically sets you in motion to attract more of that in your life. You feel better. We all know the days where we feel good when we wake up and we don't. Why not choose in the moment when you first open your eyes that today is exactly that? It's a present. And you're going to open it with eager anticipation and expectation to have an amazing day. So think about, before you get out of bed, 5 people or things that you're grateful for. And I'll tell you, some mornings, it's my pillow that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, you just don't want to leave it behind.
Yeah, it's my son, it's my daughter, it's a new business associate I met, it's, my blanket, my dog, whatever it is. It can be simple, it can be elaborate. just take that moment to start your day with an attitude of gratitude. And I promise you, it will set your day in motion to continue to feel positive and happy.
And I know one of the things that has been being sort of like a multitasker, super overachiever type, one of the things, and living in more of a
you too.
sort of a yes, me too, fast food society. One of the things that I'm having to learn about and I'm being coached by wonderful coach John DeLemme, who you know as well. And one of the things I'm learning is sort of what I call it baby steps. So what it is the slowing down and realizing that little small actions every day and consistently are the key. Not the fast food. I'll just plug $1 in here and pull out happiness from the vending machine, and that'll be that.
Well, and that goes along with our whole instant messenger society. Why do you think there are the healthcare or diet industry is probably $1 trillion industry? People are always looking for the quick fix.
And the lazier the better. Love those ads. Sit on the couch, eat chips, do nothing, lose weight. Eating everything you like.
My favorite, I don't know if you've seen this yet, they did the whole Subway campaign with the guy Jason, I think his name was, Jerry, whatever it was. The latest one is Taco Bell. I went on the Taco Bell diet.
Really?
Yes, I could not believe it. I don't know how that's
new
possible.
Food, or are we still talking about the old taco smell?
I think it's the same one. And in any event, exactly what you said, baby steps. So if there's somebody listening tonight that you're in a funk or you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, and you're not sure what next to do, stop right now and look around. What do you have that's good in your life? Focus on what is good in this present moment. There may be lots of garbage that you have to deal with, and I bet you can find 5 simple things to be grateful for. And when you start to work from feeling grateful for what you do have, it allows you to build on that. And then just practice it every single day. Little, bit by bit, it's a cinch.
Yeah, that's a big one. Now, you are also a speaker, and I understand. And I've been doing that for a number of years. And I understand there is a big event coming in February, to which I am actually going. Would you like to tell us about that? You're going to be a guest speaker at the event.
I would love to tell you about this event. I am so excited about it. It's called the Why Warrior event. And let me backtrack just for a moment and talk about the word why. My personal friend, mentor, and phenomenal business coach, John DeLemme, that you referred to before, he is so directly responsible for me living the life of my dreams that I now do. And let me share with you why. So I'm going to take 2 steps back, and then I'll share with everybody about the event happening at the end of February. My background was that I was taught, like so many of us were, go to school, get good grades, go to college, become a professional, get a good job, and you're set for life. Most of the people in my family, actually, were phone company people. I came from a long line of people who all worked for the phone company. Up in New York, it was Ma Bell, and then down here, Bell South. Huh?
Telecommunications specialists.
Yeah, telecommunication, or bellheads, as we lovingly referred to them at the time. And I never went the corporate track. I always wanted to be a lawyer. Can't really tell you why or how that came to be. I think I watched a lot of Perry Mason and Matlock and all those fun shows when I was a kid. Just loved them. And I always wanted to be a lawyer. So I went to school. I did fairly well. Went to college, did fairly well. And then in the early 80s, I graduated college and decided to move to Florida from New York, where my 2 sisters were living down here. So I decided before I sign up for another 3 years of school by starting law school, let me go work in a law firm and see what it's really all about. Went to work in a law firm and ended up having a very fun time. Picture this. It's 1982. I'm 22 years old, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale. So my attention soon became distracted from work and going to law school, and it got focused on partying and going out, having a good time. Yes,
At that
absolutely.
young age.
At that young age. And I was on quite a little bit of a self-destructive path, I'm sure of it. Got into some things I shouldn't have and was careless enough to have the blessing of becoming pregnant.
Well, that must have made a major shift for you.
It totally did. And my son saved my life. I cleaned up my act, got more serious with my job, and fortunately had great family and friends around to guide me and support me through this process of having a child on my own. You know, I wasn't married, there was no steady in my life, and I chose to have this child and became committed to giving him the best life possible. And it changed my life, and he saved my life. You know, thank goodness pregnant was the result of my carelessness. It could have been a lot worse. And my son is my pride and joy. He's now 24 years old, and he's given me a beautiful 3-year-old grandbaby. So,
oh, you're a grandma. I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm a grandma. I'm a very happy woman. So in any event, here I am on this path, and I'm working for an attorney, and I did very well. Anything that I choose to do, I choose to do well. Did well in that firm, went to another firm, and after years, I end up running these law practices for attorneys.
And you were like the gal in charge?
Yes. So, wow. And I'm making a little bit of money, and they're making a lot of money.
You do all the work and...
Yeah. So I said, I decided that I would, I thought about going back to law school at the time and was not able to manage it, and instead decided to open my own business as a mortgage broker, real estate, title company, and real estate investor.
So did you specialize in that kind of law, or was that a jump for you?
No, that was what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
I did general law with specialty in real estate, foreclosure, bankruptcy, and things of that nature. So it was a natural shift for me to create this, and so I opened my own business, and this was in 2002, and I was doing great. Business was good the minute I opened my doors because I did have a good reputation in the community. The business and the money was flowing in.
Well, that sounds like a happy ending, but I understand it didn't stop there, right?
Say that again?
I said that sounds like a happy ending, fairy tale ending, but it didn't stop there, though, did it?
Oh, no, the journey continues, definitely continues. And I'm going to circle it back to share with you how I came to meet John DeLemme and my why and finding my purpose and my passion. I'm really good in real estate and in law and in working with people. And I had this title company and mortgage company, and like I said, things were great. I had several employees. It was time to grow my business to the next level because I love to continue growing. And the thought of opening another branch of my title company, hiring more employees, absolutely nauseated me.
Wow. That seems like an odd response to that, doesn't it? Something in you must be telling you you're supposed to go a different direction pretty strongly for you to be so successful and have that reaction.
And what happened was, because of that, I became complacent.
Oh.
And I stopped trying to grow. I was not happy. I wasn't fulfilled. There was plenty of money. It wasn't about the money. There were trips, there were vacations, there were parties, all of that. Those things I thought I wanted, I had. Yet
perks.
I was still unhappy.
Wow.
So my very dear friend, Rick Icona, I was sharing with him what I was going through. How come I'm not feeling like growing to the next level? Why am I doing this?
Just hold that thought for a second. We'll come right back.
Okay.
The World Talk Radio Variety Channel, where the world comes to talk.
Your past does not dictate your future. Learn where this powerful message came from by picking up a copy of the inspirational book, Firewalker, written by author, speaker, and talk show host Leica Shawn. Firewalker chronicles Leica's experiences raised in the deep woods of Maine by a Czech immigrant who claimed to be touched by the hand of God, and her journey to overcoming the fear and self-doubt that was thrust upon her for years. Pick up your copy of Firewalker now at breakingthelimits.com/Firewalker. That's breakingthelimits.com/Firewalker. Champions are born and losers are made. This is a powerful statement made by one of the world's top motivational speakers, John D. Lemmy. Clinically diagnosed as a stutterer at a young age, he was told he would never speak fluently, and yet now he is a world-renowned motivational speaker. Get the resources now you need in order to stay on top of your game. John D. Lemmy is giving away for free 7 success motivational teachings. Go to www.selfempowermentsystems.com. That's www.selfempowermentsystems.com.
It's time for metaphysics to come out of the closet. Join host Kathy Kimura each week for Speaking Metaphysically. This program is designed to open the door to the world of the metaphysical. You'll hear from Kathy and her guests, including psychics, healers, shamans, and philosophers. You'll also hear from channels, angels, and more. Each week is sure to be informative and enlightening. Speaking Metaphysically with Kathy Kimura, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on the World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
The World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
You are listening to Breaking the Limits. Your past does not dictate your future with Leica Shawn. What would you do if you could overcome any obstacle in your life? Let's get back to today's exciting discussion. Here's Leica Shawn.
Welcome back to Breaking the Limits. Now, Nancy, you were just telling us about how you had gone through the process of being incredibly successful with your own business and suddenly realized that you didn't want to plow forward in that same venue, that you had something missing in your life. That's kind of where we left off before the commercial break.
Yeah.
You want to pick it up?
And that's right. And what really occurred for me is I had one of those aha moments. And in that moment, I started to consider, wow, maybe I don't have to stay in this field. I don't have to keep the title company. I could actually sell it and do something else. Like that wasn't even something that I considered as an option or a possibility before. And I think so many of us get on the path of just doing what we're good at or doing what we think we're supposed to do without stopping to think, does this bring me joy?
I know I had friends that worked at Microsoft. That I'm a geek too, so and they'd call it the golden handcuffs, where you would be pretty successful at something, and that would in itself become a trap, a form of complacency, because you didn't feel like, oh well, I'm good at this. It's safe. I shouldn't be trying to jump out of here.
Right, very true. And there is a saying that many people have heard, I'm sure, do what you love and the money will follow. Mm-hmm. And I know that to be true because it's happened for me since I now do what I truly, truly love. And I just want to give a clarification to that statement.
And that anybody, is the Women's Prosperity Network.
Prosperity Network, yeah, and the speaking and the coaching that I do with people and the marketing consulting I do. Important clarification to do what you love and the money will follow. Find what you love to do. Get really, 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 really good at it so people will pay you for it.
Mm-hmm. There's a big fear factor there you're dealing with that statement, I think, that people have to overcome because, the first thing you think in the money first always in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So how did I get to where I am now, to being the CEO founder of a women's organization and doing public speaking, writing books, producing CDs, tapes, how did I get there from running a title company?
Yeah, how did you?
Right?
I want to know.
How I got there was just stopping for a moment, and as I said, my friend Rick Icona handing me a CD called Find Your Why and Fly by John DeLemme. And this CD opened up my eyes. It was kind of like somebody took off the blinders and said, oh, there's a whole nother world there. Like, remember when Dorothy's house lands in Oz and she opens the door and all the colors are there?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, wow.
Not in Kansas anymore.
Exactly. And through the process of what John offered and then on several other books that I've read, I found my purpose and my passion, and it's a process. It doesn't happen in a moment. Maybe for some people it does, but for me it was an unfolding. And I would love to offer all the listeners on the call tonight, I created a brief article that shares the 7 secrets to revealing your purpose, passion, and power. And if you go to my website, www.womensprosperitynetwork.com, there's 2 great articles there for you. One is the 7 secrets to revealing your purpose, passion, and power. And the other is networking secrets. So I'm sure we've got some business people listening on the call tonight. Go out and network and do it well. Do it with fun and do it so that you get results. So sign up for those networking secrets as well as the passion, finding your purpose, and watch your life unfold magically, because when you're living in your purpose, and Leica, you and I have talked about this, I know you know this, when you're living in your purpose and your true mission, events, circumstances, and people will be put in your path to continue to move you along in the process.
Yeah, there's an unfolding process. I think it's kind of like an
Mm-hmm.
unfolding process that takes place when you're drawn the right direction. Not that there's not going to be bumps and challenges, but it's sort of like I don't know if divine intervention is the right way to say it. I'm not sure what word to use for it, where stuff will come up that doesn't necessarily make sense, that it would suddenly appear in your path. You know, it's like, is there such a thing as a coincidence that will pull you forward? I know I've had that happen. And sometimes you have a big old block that's dropped in front of you when you're going the wrong direction, too. And that can happen sometimes as well, where you're fighting upstream towards something you shouldn't be doing. And sometimes if you can stop and breathe, you can see that. Maybe that there's a bigger picture there that you're not seeing.
Well, and that's very true. So think about any challenge or adversity that happened to you. It wasn't what you wanted to do at the time, and you were forced in a different direction, and then that ended up being the perfect direction.
Yeah.
So for example, with me, when I decided to leave the law firm that I was working at, it was because another attorney had been brought into the company who wanted to pretty much take over everything that I had been doing for the past 10 years.
Oh.
And I said, oh, really? I think
Just
I'm
wanted to push you
now.
out?
No, wasn't trying. Wanted to control me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She would have been very happy for me to stay there, but that wasn't going to be the case. And I was angry, and I was bitter, and I had bad feelings at the time. Mm-hmm. And now I look back, and I see it was what I needed.
That push, huh?
I needed to do that, and quite often they say breakdowns precede breakthroughs. So anybody listening, if you're going through a breakdown right now, the other side's going to be so good. Just know it.
Light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
I have a question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and to kind of circle back, February 19th, 20th, and 21st, John Delemy is hosting what he refers to as the Why Warrior event. Find your why, live it, and now put all the tools and resources and knowledge into play to make it become your reality, to continue to carry it forward. And he has a lineup of amazing speakers that are going to be talking on all different areas.
You're one of them.
I am one of them. And what I'm going to be sharing on is my, you mentioned it before, they call me the visionary with guts. Mm-hmm. Because when challenges happen, when problems happen, I've got my gratitude armor in place, and I know that I just keep charging forward and things will happen the way that they're supposed to, which are positive outcomes. So visionary with guts, my sister actually named me that because she just watches me keep going and going. And when you come to the event, you'll hear more of the story of some of the interesting things that I've done where I was like, okay, I'm going for it. And they look at me like, are you crazy?
I've heard that one before a number of times myself.
Yeah, right. You're crazy? What are you, nuts? That's never going to work.
That always just spurred me forward, though. Something in me. That always just spurred me forward when people would accuse me of being crazy.
Yeah, and truthfully, sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't, right?
But you can't be afraid of failing or you'll never move forward.
There you go. That's the key. So my conversation about visionary with guts is the fact that I know within each and every person they have a vision. Now let's just get the guts to get up and go and live it. And that's what I'll be sharing at the weekend event, February 19th through 21st, is how do you build the guts? How do you do it? How do you get up there and go for your dream? And
that is part of what I kind of wanted to ask you, because you said when you find that passion, that thing that drives you forward, that you should be doing, your why, get really good at it. How did you go about making that switch? I mean, how did you go from running this business to getting really good at what you realized was your calling at that point, which is something you hadn't done before, correct? Am I right on that?
That is correct, and I'll tell you that if you had said to me, even when I was 10 years ago, that I would be the founder of a women's organization, I would say you're out of your mind.
You're crazy.
Normally hang out with the guys. There's no way I'm going to lead a women's organization. And the lesson I've learned is how incredible women are to have as friends and alliances, and there's been a huge lesson for me in learning that. So when I was gently guided in this direction to start Women's Prosperity Network, I needed to get good at it. I needed to learn public speaking. I needed to overcome my own fears and challenges and all the things that would show up. So I've immersed myself in self-development and education. I've taken courses on public speaking. I read every single day. Here's another key to living your life of your dreams. Every morning, or if it suits you better, do it every night. Spend a minimum of 15 minutes a day dedicated to your own personal growth. Maybe you meditate. Maybe you like to read a book. Maybe you journal. Give yourself that time. And this was a habit that I developed early on, probably, when my children were first born, actually. I developed the habit of waking up 30 minutes before I needed to wake up the rest of the family. And that was Nancy time.
You made the time for yourself.
Absolutely. So to get really, really good at what you love to do, seek out somebody who's already done what you've want to do,
so
and ask them to mentor you. Modeling, absolutely. Absolutely. So I did research. I aligned myself with other people. I get coaching. I totally believe in the power of having somebody to mentor you, coach you, and hold you accountable. There's power in numbers and teamwork, and that, again, is part of what we've created with Women's Prosperity Network. So the event, February 19th through 21st, here in beautiful Fort Lauderdale. So for all of you people who are freezing right now, come to Fort Lauderdale.
I'm in Georgia, and I'm freezing. It's snowing here, and there's ice everywhere.
All right. So are you coming to the event?
I am.
All right. Awesome. And
I'll be there.
Yeah, good. For those of you listening, you can get tickets by calling me at 1-800-928-6928 or email Nancy at womensprosperityNetwork.com. I'll be happy to give you all the details.
We will repeat that again as soon as we come back from the break as well to make sure they've got that.
The World Talk Radio Variety Channel,
where the world comes to listen and talk.
Your past does not dictate your future. Learn where this powerful message came from by picking up a copy of the inspirational book, Firewalker, written by author, speaker, and talk show host Leica Shawn. Firewalker chronicles Leica's experiences raised in the deep woods of Maine by a Czech immigrant who claimed to be touched by the hand of God, and her journey to overcoming the fear and self-doubt that was thrust upon her for years. Pick up your copy of Firewalker now at breakingthelimits.com/Firewalker. That's breakingthelimits.com/Firewalker. Champions are born and losers are made. This is a powerful statement made by one of the world's top motivational speakers, John D. Lemmy. Clinically diagnosed as a stutterer at a young age, he was told he would never speak fluently, and yet now he is a world-renowned motivational speaker. Get the resources now you need in order to stay on top of your game. John D. Lemmy is giving away for free 7 success motivational teachings. Go to www.selfempowermentsystems.com. That's www.selfempowermentsystems.com.
Ready to revolutionize your thinking? It's time to learn about the clarity, simplicity, and speed of systems thinking and how it can be applied to every aspect of your daily life. Each week, tune in to Steve Haynes Live and learn one systems thinking concept. You'll also learn 3 simple, clear, and integrated applications that you can use instantly. You can apply them to your life, job, family, organization, government, and or society. Steve Haynes Live broadcasts every Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. Eastern on World Talk Radio Variety Channel. Join Steve, and together we will make a global difference.
Listen.
The world is talking. The World Talk Radio Variety Channel.
You are listening to Breaking the Limits. Your past does not dictate your future with Leica Shawn. What would you do if you could overcome any obstacle in your life? Let's get back to today's exciting discussion. Here's Leica Shawn.
Welcome back. And Nancy, we were just talking about this amazing event that's coming up in February, which I will definitely be attending, and what a lineup we have, you included. And would you like to go ahead and tell the audience more about that? Because I think a lot of them would miss a great opportunity if they didn't know where to go to find out how to get there.
Okay, absolutely, I will. So you can go to a couple different ways you can get tickets. It's only $97 for all 3 days in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And the phone number to call is 954. Actually, let me give the 800 number, forgive me. 1-800-928-6928. Or you can go to this website. It's called www.lifestylefreedomclub.com/YWarrior. Or once again, call me at 1-800-928-6928. And the speaker lineup is absolutely phenomenal. There's going to be John DeLemme, of course, Dan Giordano, who works closely with John and does internet marketing strategies and building websites, which we all know is a huge explosive business and opportunity to create passive income.
He's a technology guru, right?
He's a technology guru, and all of the systems that you need to put in place in order to make money while you sleep, which I think is a good thing.
That's always a nice thing. I would love to just make money while I sleep.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the problem
we'll
is finding
that.
The real ones instead of those pills that you can sit on the couch and eat all you want and still lose weight.
Right. Absolutely. So also a gentleman by the name of Tony Robleski, who has the 10 Commandments of Marketing, which are phenomenal. And then we've got Dr. Joe Esposito, and you know more about Dr. Joe.
Yeah, he's my doctor. He's out here in Atlanta, and he's a chiropractor, an author, and nutritionist. And he's working wonders with me right now because I had a lot of back injuries. I got into an automobile accident, and I had some old martial arts injuries that compounded a bit too. So I'm a fairly new client of his, but so far so good. He is awesome too. He's a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. Also, we've got Michelle Prince, who worked for many years in corporate America. She also, years ago, worked with Zig Ziglar.
Oh, great. I forgot to mention, I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Joe next week, so he'll also be on this show on Breaking the Limits, so people can listen in and get to know him there, too.
Next Friday, the same time?
Yep, same time.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Same bat channel, same bat time.
Same bat. I was going to say that.
Stuck in my head.
And so anyways, it's a star-studded lineup. Please do go ahead and visit the website, lifestylefreedomclub.com/YWarrior, or you can reach me at 1-800-928-6928. I'll give you all the details. And for those of you who go ahead and do call me this evening, I will be able to send you some bonuses, some immediate downloads and MP3s so that you can start to tap into the information and knowledge. I don't want you to have to wait until the end of February. Put these things into practice right now, because I know we're all excited and we're all inspired to have 2010, in fact, be our best year yet.
And on that note, I know we don't have a whole lot of time on the last segment, but you have so many amazing things that you have out there. One of them is your vision boarding. Did I say that right? How do you call that?
I call it a dream board. Because once again, we want to get in the process of dreaming about what you want. And many people have done dream boards or vision boards, and they didn't work. Well, why didn't they work? There's lots of reasons, and quickly I'll just mention, I've created a 5-step process to creating a dream board that really and truly allows you to manifest what you want in your life. And simply go to dreamboardsecrets.com. The information is there. And trust me, I do this process once or twice a year. I create a dream board because I'm accomplishing the things that I want. And it's so much fun. And it's not a dream board about cars and houses and boats and trips. That's part of it, but it's the totality of who you are and what you want to create in your life. What do you want to do in the area of health, in your knowledge, in your trips, and people you want to meet? So it's absolutely awesome, and we'll produce
I'm
great
actually going
results
through
for
it, your course right now, so I haven't gotten all the way through it, but you have a template in there, I believe, which kind of has a section for each aspect of your life. Is that correct?
That is correct. And that template is from the Feng Shui Bagua map. So the theory of the 9 houses of balance for totality is what you need to focus on and really make sure that you're not neglecting one of these areas of your life in order to be in balance and manifest everything that you want.
Yeah. It's well-rounded, taking everything into consideration. Yeah. Now, I do have a nice picture of a beach house on my board, so it's so cold here right now. I probably won't want to come back when I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Well, you're going to come in February. We'll find a beach house to hang out at.
I just won't want to come back. Hopefully it'll warm up a bit by then out here, but it's literally freezing. There's ice all over the place.
We're supposed to get some nasty weather. Yeah, it's unusual.
So
just bundle up.
So anyway, you have a lot of stuff out there, and what would the last? Since we're coming to a close, I like to try and figure out what would you like to share the most with the audience as sort of a closer.
What I would really like to share is that remember that you have the power of choice in every given moment to choose how you want to respond to a situation. Instead of getting angry, choose to be indifferent. Choose to not let it bother you. That you have the power to create, and you said this beautifully earlier. We have the power to create whatever type of life that we choose. The key is to be conscious of it and intentional in what you want to create in your life. And I know for some this may say, oh, I don't know, but how do you do that? That all sounds fine and good, and I've tried that and stuff. And I know that it can be challenging, and I know that there may be people in your life surrounding you that don't think like you or don't believe in you or don't want to see you succeed. Find people who are positive, who are like-minded, who are committed to living their best version of themselves in their lives, and you will be inspired to do so. So what Women's Prosperity Network is about, providing that community to people, to providing the knowledge so that you can become excellent in whatever your area of purpose is. And remember that you're not alone, and to reach out to people and ask for help. ask for support, and likewise offer it to others. So that's really what I'd most like to offer, and really come to this event, February 19th through 20th in Fort Lauderdale. Your life will change. Your life will take it to the next level like you can only begin to even imagine right now.
Well, I'm all excited. I wish it was tomorrow now. I have my flight. I have my ticket. I just booked it.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Breaking the Limits. This has been awesome. Time flew, so it's about to close out now. So I just wanted to make sure you got to say what you needed to say there at the end. And you want to give you that number one more time before they shoot us down?
Absolutely. It's 1-800-928-6928, or go to lifestylefreedomclub.com/Y Warrior, and we'll tell you all about being a Y Warrior when you come down to the event. And Leica, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to share with you and have this conversation, learn a little bit more about you as well. And also thanks to all the listeners for taking your time on a Friday night to be here with us.
And I can't wait to meet you face-to-face finally in February.
I know. It's going to be great.
Yeah, so thanks, and thanks everybody for joining me on the show. And I will see you next week with Dr. Joe.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks again for tuning in to Breaking the Limits. Please join Leica Sean for another program of inspiration next Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 Eastern on the World Talk Radio Variety Channel. This week, never let what's happened in the past dictate what happens in your future.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program brought to you on the World Talk Radio Network. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit worldtalkradio.com. The World Talk Radio Network, where the world comes to talk. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the World Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.